Hey everybody, it's Kenny K here again with a nice horror movie, a found footage movie this time again. Uh, I like to sprinkle those in, and I like the genre, the subgenre, found footage. Before I start, like if you like the video, subscribe if you haven't. It's free, no worries. It's a badge of honor for me. Godforsaken from 2020. So not a movie that's made long ago. It gets a 5.3 on IMDb, which isn't a bad score for a found footage movie, but I give it a 5.5. I really like it in some aspects. Directed by, and this is a mouthful, Ali Akbar Kamal. Okay, I've never heard of him. Your main characters, I never heard. It's a Canadian movie. I never heard of them. The main guy is this filmmaker called Chad Taylor. He in real life he's called Chad Taylor. In the movie he's called Chad Taylor. His mom is Nicole. She's this what you call it, somebody who works for the church, for the church is Father Anderson, but she works for him. She has the white robe. It's like a second priest or something. Yeah. Um, Now Chad goes to town because somebody died, and his mom asked to come. A woman named Lisa. Now, what happens is everybody is crying, oh, Lisa, oh, Lisa, and then he goes out of the church because he hates funerals, and then everybody comes out crying and yelling and scared and shit, and he's asking what the hell's happening, and they can't answer, so he goes in, he sees the coffin is on the ground, and then you see an arm coming out, crawling out, and then you see Lisa standing super fast, you know, back up, and it's creepy. She makes this weird noise like she comes, she runs away, and Chad gets one shot of her face, and it's like in the movie Smile, that I always thought those faces were creepy when he sees her face, like, and then she's running away. And apparently she's been gone for 4 days. Now, Chad thinks it's a good documentary, and he asks Katie, who's a PA, but she wants to get out of the PA's worlds and wants to do documentaries. And Dom too, he's his camera guy. So Katie will be the executive director, and Chad will be the main director. But the problem is nobody wants to talk about it. Now, Chris, a good friend of Chad, is in a wheelchair, and they're like smoking joints together. They're good friends. They're good friends. Now, there's this point that they say, Chris, the wheelchair guy, said, "What the fuck is that?" In the distance, you see somebody walking out of the woods and then running towards them. And they're like, what the fuck? Let's get the hell out of here. And then Chris is being attacked inside. And they go back in to see Chris out of his wheelchair and walking again. And it was said he will never walk again. Never. So he said that Lisa touched his legs, and she asked to believe in her and to if she could stay with him. So she's staying in his basement. He has to feed her fucking cats. Oh, I hate that. Even when we don't see it, animal violence. He feeds some cats, a half cats, feeds them a dog gets ripped to shreds. I've got a dog. That's already a that's already something you have to worry about, right? I mean, eating fucking cats and dogs. What else would she like to eat, right? And then the movie basically is like this. Everybody, okay, thinks she's a saint. She's curing cancer. She's curing a burnt face, a kid with a burnt face. Everything. She's curing everybody, like Jesus. Now, Father Anderson goes there to inspect her, and with the fire department and the police. But apparently when he went into the cellar, he just ran away, and all the police ran out of the house. The firefighters they just got out of Dodge and said, "Fuck you, I'm gone." Even the father from the church, the priest. So Chad's mom Nicole refers it as a thing in the basement. So she goes to the she wants to confront it, and Chad goes in with her, and then she's like she's like shaking, and the thing go. Lisa is stepping towards her, putting her face against her, and she's like, ah, ah. She's getting seizures and shit like that, and they're getting her out of there. And what's happening is, at some point, they want to take her out of there because she's really sick. And then she, no, 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 you can't. She won't let me leave. So she's in everybody's head. And all through this little town of Anderson, I call it, the town is called Anderson, you have these picket kind of symbols with a red line around, with a red circle around, and they're all, people around it, and like doing this, like cherishing it. It's praying to it, and it's already weird, right? And at some point their car gets attacked by these people, but not really attacked for aggression, but attacked for believe in her, like this. And then, I mean, shit starts to happen. So it starts with Nicole. Nicole says what she heard. She buried her in a pit, and she couldn't breathe, and she was torturing her, and she won't let me leave, and she wants me to do this, and she takes a fucking knife and cuts her throat, flesh, right in front of her son. Bye bye, Nicole. Bye bye, mommy. Okay. So Dom is going to the house of Chris, where they're holding this thing. Um, because there's also a scene where Father Anderson has a cross, and he's praying to God, like doing an exorcism on that house. And then when at some point he gets his mouth, something explodes inside his head, and his entire mouth is gone. So it's a pretty gory movie. And Dom sees this, and then he sees Lisa standing in the window, laughing like this. He goes in, Chris to ask warn Chris, and then Chris is upstairs. He sees his parents both with a bullet through the head, and then we see Chris with a big ass revolver, and he's like, no, 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 it's a good thing. We'll be with her. He blows his fucking brains out, and then everybody see mass suicides. Everybody blows their fucking brains out, slits their throats, whatever. They kill each other. And then the crazy shit becomes. So it becomes sort of a demon possession movie. towards a zombie movie. So all these people who basically killed themselves come back to life. Now, what I didn't like was at some point, Nicole, Chad's mom, is alive and kills a fucking dog that they have. They're a fucking dog, and I hate that already. They go and see her. She's full of blood, has weird eyes, and she attacks Dom. She bites him. Now I hoped they wouldn't go to the route, or if you're bitten, like in a zombie movie, you're becoming a zombie. And yes, they fucking do that, and I hate that because they're acolytes of a demon. They're not zombies. So if you get scratched, you become one too. I mean, they're just acolytes. They shouldn't. Okay, acolytes, I mean, demons eat human flesh, okay? The flesh of the living. But it shouldn't be like that, like, oh, you're not now gonna become a acolyte zombie. So he becomes one, kills Katie, gives a. He hits her to death with a baseball bat, pretty gory, and then you get this creepy face, and that's creepy. They're always okay. These creepy moments in there, so it redeems itself lots of times, and it's looking at him with this laugh, and then he pushes him in a door, locks it. But the weird thing is, here's this big ass cat and mouse game. He goes to this, so he's followed by all these. His car doesn't work. I don't understand why his car doesn't work. Um, it's not that everybody was blasting their faces off, so nobody, and even the zombie acolytes don't know how to fucking snip a wire or something under the hood. So I don't know, understand why the car didn't work. So they had to find a new car. So actually, Chad wanted to leave Mike and Dom and Katie behind the motherfucker. Yeah. So what happens is he eventually, like I said, Katie gets killed by Dom. Dom wants to kill him now. All these crazy acolytes want to kill. And then he goes into the basement where he sees a body in the corner, and I don't know who the hell that was. I mean, she rode, it was full of blood. She rode, she had a daughter that just died, and she opened the gates of hell. And it was in the, it was in the fucking church underneath in the basement. So, and of course it didn't work, and he sees this pentagram with all this shit, and then he sees something coming out of the pentagram, this clothed demon with the typical horns, you know. Gets the fuck out of there. Then he again has to run away from the acolytes. He's getting attacked from everywhere, and there's a moment when I'm thinking, okay, now you really don't need the camera anymore, because there's a moment when he just falls out of a fucking window. He strains or breaks his foot. I'm not sure. He has problems walking on. Oh, but my camera is there, and four of these sons of bitches, these flesh eaters, are coming towards him. I need my camera. I mean, okay, listen, they should have played it differently, because in this situation you don't, like the Blair Witch, they needed a camera because one, they needed the light. Two, Heather was so committed to this that she said, this is in a extended version, by the way, that she says after her confession, I tell you this, I will die while filming. So she was so everybody, so if they find the film, that they will see what happens to them. Of of course, something ambiguous happens to them, so nobody really sees what happens to them except seeing Mike in the corner in that movie. But like other guys having like these headpieces on, you forgot about these things, or like body cams, things like that, that you can. Those head cams have light and no, no, he has this big ass camera like this, and he doesn't have an excuse to have the camera anymore. He's not gonna get in, he's not gonna get out there alive, and for some reason he knows every fucking house door, locks it. I guess he locks every. It goes from house to house to house to house. He knows every fucking door, and yeah, it's a cat and mouse game until he gets back to the church and Lisa's there, smiling with her smile and smiling for real. She's going after, of course, Chad. She had it with Chad. He goes back to that basement where the fucking hoofed creature was. So that's not a good idea. But when he goes in, he puts his light on, and we see for a glimpse that the woman that was lying there in the corner is now standing just behind him. He puts a cat, and this zombified acolyte lady's now behind him. He's dying. Okay, then he goes in another room that's beside the cellar, and we see Lisa just getting in, and we see her face first, and it's a creepy shot. And she attacks him, and we see the camera falling on the floor, and you see her eating his face off. And that's the end of the movie. Now, why I like this movie is the seclusion, the isolation. They had nowhere to go. I liked that. I liked the demon acolyte flesh eaters, but I didn't. So I liked that. I liked Lisa. She was creepy and like a like Smile, the demons in Smile, um, and the acting wasn't bad. It was a Canadian picture. The acting wasn't bad. Um, but what I didn't like was the fact that Chad went in the car and he closed the doors. He locked the doors, and Katie and Dom were still out there knocking on his. Let me the fuck in. Let me the fuck in. Eventually, lets them in. Almost attacked and killed by Chris, a wheelchair guy, with a bust, with a bullet. His brain matters all over his fucking face. So he basically wanted to leave them there, and but the car don't work. I don't understand. Then they do the same shit. They go from house to house. In the meantime, Dom gets bitten by Nicole, and that's something I didn't like. It's the fact that he's bitten, so he becomes as these acolytes, these possessed flesh-eating acolytes. So it's basically now a zombie movie, and it shouldn't be like that. If you get wounded, you wounded. Okay, you're not becoming a fucking zombie, right? I didn't want. That's two different movies in one. It's lazy, kind of lazy in my opinion. Lazy writing, Oh, let's make him also a zombie. So when you're bit, you become one. No, no, no. Um, what I also yeah, they should have had a better idea with the cameras. They only had one camera, a big one. It felt like a big one, and there's at some point when he's going from house to house to house, that he doesn't need it anymore. The light is working half, it's just going off, on, off, on. But it creates this tension. Then you have this demon there, and then it goes off and it goes on, and the demon is straight in your face. But it creates this tension, but there's no need for a camera, a handheld camera anymore. You should take a weapon, a knife or something, or a baseball bat. Because when Lisa gets in the room and she's laughing at him, he's hitting her with the camera, and she keeps laughing. She goes like this, and and then the unthinkable happens, and he hits his face off. So I didn't like they should have had like body cams or something like that, yeah, or a head cam. It's 2020, and not a hefty camera, only one. Those were the things that sort of bothered me. The camera, the excuse why you still need a camera at the end, and also the fact that you get bit, you become a zombie acolyte, because then it's a zombie movie basically, and it's not about zombies; it's about possessed people, right? But I liked Lisa. I liked the characters. They acted well. Their acting was good, and I liked Lisa. When she was that smile face from the movie Smile. I always thought that was creepy. It was the creepiest thing in that movie. So I liked it that it was also incorporated in this movie, because the smile itself was from 2018, right? Maybe they ripped it off. I don't know, but it did its job well. Um, yeah, and a lot of gore, a little bit CGI gore, but some good gore. Uh, and tense moments, yeah, very tense moments. And at some point, you want them to survive, but at, then at some point you got to like, Chad, just give it up, find a gun, blow your fucking brains out. But yeah, then you will come back as an acolyte probably, but you weren't under her spell. Everybody who was under her spell became an acolyte, killed himself and became an acolyte. But if he finds a gun and she's not in his head and he blows his brains out, you're done. You're done, buddy. You're done. So you're gonna die anyway. So, but he wanted to keep on living, and I don't think that was gonna be the case in this movie. But it's a 5.5 for me, so it's definitely a found footage. You should give it a watch. Good tension, great acting, great creepy antagonist, Lisa, the demon, the possessed one. First Jesus, but then the demon. And these zombie acolytes. So it's just a few nitpicks that I had with the biting and then becoming a zombie, and then keeping the camera. Just the you know, but for the rest, a good movie. Watch it. See you later, guys. Bye bye.